actresses, the filmmakers too, meeting Venus. Yeah, we're coming through. Shine your light, let your voices be heard. We're spreading love with every single word, from the stage to the screen. We're making our mark, me and Venus, together we embark.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight, I'm very happy to welcome singer Louissa, or Charlene Louissa, as well as I know from reliable sources. How are you, Louissa? Nice to
Uh,
meet you online here.
It's so nice to meet you as well. I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing this evening?
Uh, Excellent. Thank you very much. Very happy to meet you, talk to you. I got the press release about your new song,
Yes.
Pretty Lie. Congratulations for the release.
Thank you so much.
And I've seen you performing it in a live show as well.
Yes.
So before we talk about it right now, I want to ask you about your beginnings. How did you venture into music and you become a professional singer?
So that's a really good question. I started when I was actually quite young, and it was actually a way for me to deal with my mother getting cancer. And when you have that happen in your family and you're so young, it gets kind of tumultuous. So I actually kind of went off course in my adult life at first and had a lot of cool things happen as a teenager, early adult life, and then like mid 20s, I started finding my way back after my dad ended up also getting cancer and passing. And now I've just been in Virginia Beach area and just somehow connected with people that have been giving me a chance, and I've just met some really amazing people, and I can't stop now. So I just anytime I take it.
Yes, this is great. And right now, for how long you've been like a professional singer?
So I actually started my first professional recording. I was 15 years old, so over 15
Mhm.
years now.
Mhm.
So
This is great. Mhm. Early start, yes, yes. But I want to ask you. I got the press release from
mhm.
Nevada and Las Vegas,
Yes, you did.
and yes, and I want to ask you about, according to you, um, for a young lady to start like yourself in the music scene. I know it's a lot in the United States, and as well there are a lot of trending up and going out. I remember I used to listen to music since I was young, and you know how music changes in America and Europe, and also the medium where you present your music. Tell me a little bit. Did you have any challenges presenting and showcasing your talents in the music industry?
This is a great question, Sharif. I absolutely have. It's changed so much since I started. When I started, one of the first things I did was a contest, but now we are actually kind of in a beautiful age where I'm actually sitting in my space where I can record.
Mm-hmm,
You have a mini computer in your hands. All you don't even need to have recording equipment, but we have such accessibility. Social media is this brilliant way with the internet as well to reach people. So just start, experiment. Don't let anyone define what you want to make. Your authentic expression is what is so needed in this world today. Get even the cheapest thing. Just start using your phone. This microphone right here, and if you have an iPhone, an app
mm-hmm,
called BandLab. I've
mm-hmm,
met people from across the world. Like, we have such accessibility. Just
mm-hmm.
start, because you never know where you'll end up.
Yes. I want to ask you regarding the medium. When I was a child, we used to listen to music in cassettes,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And before that, my grandmother had a vinyl recording, you know, and then came CDs and everything, and right now the internet. For a trajectory of a song like Pretty Lie, sorry. You recorded in the studio, you try to film a music video, you know, to showcase it to people. But I want to know how right now you showcase a song and yourself right now on social media, on Spotify. Are there any chances like before for a singer like yourself to have concert, to have tours, or right now it's only like I mean concreted in the social media and platforms like YouTube and YouTube Music and Spotify.
So you actually can. So I there's a million ways actually to do it. You can create your own shows, but that can get a little expensive. You can host shows online, but
Yes.
I have the blessing of, I'm not sure if you're familiar with gigging. It's a term in
Mhm.
America here,
Mhm.
with, it's not, it's cover work, but if you were in the right venue, I have a
Mhm.
few of them around here. You actually can do some of your own songs and throw them in. And it's kind of a good way to test. And I've had the blessing of doing that at some of the venues that I'm at. One in particular is the Rally Room at the historic Cavalier and Resort here, and some TV shows, local news stations. I've been able to debut songs, but kind of the beauty is you can decide if you want to use your phone and the internet, in which you can, but you also can test things out live or just decide to do your own show. Goodness, you could even, if it's a safe space, busk on the street and test out a song. Like, there really are no limits today, which is kind of, I think, what's really beautiful about the age that we're in,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know.
Yes. Right now, I want to ask you about Pretty Lights of the song, the lyrics and the music. What is the message you try to convey through it?
This is a good question. So it's really funny the way the song started, because I co-wrote it with my, I call them my two sisters, like adopted sisters in life. But it started out of frustration, really kind of feeling like, oh, where am I going in music? Which is why I reiterate, don't let anyone define where you're going. And if you're familiar with sync and licensing, right, you're a music fan, then you know that shows that they use in movies and TVs, kind of like my engineer made this progression. So he wrote the chord progression on his guitar, and I started going, "Ah, na, 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 na," and I'm like, and it just, the melody started coming. Melody comes to me first. And I'm like, I just see this scene in my head. So I pulled from like stories that I knew, maybe experiences, past experiences in my life, and then also brought in my two sisters, and we refined it and told this story of like lost love. All I could see was in my head, where you find this person, but it's like this unrelinquished love tale that never was, never could be. And so much in life is timing, but all I could see was just this scene in my head. And they came in and helped me refine it. And it was kind of cool because there's sometimes I have this guardedness with what I want to say with my music. And some of the lines were a little bit edgy for what I might normally say, but it felt good to be a little bit more grown and a little bit more adult in a consumable way that wasn't inappropriate, but talks about adult topics, adult things, where you find someone you connect with on a very intimate level, and
Mhm.
then you cannot connect past then because life, time, and you are living in the nostalgia of it. So it's for
Yes.
anyone who's felt that, you know?
Mhm. So, according to you, what makes a pretty lie?
Oh, a pretty lie. Oh, that's such a good question. A pretty lie is, there's beauty in the fantasy,
Mhm.
beauty in the fantasy of what isn't a truth, because life is actually kind of really ugly at times, it's
Mhm.
messy. So there's this beauty in this fantasy of what you dream about, but maybe isn't
Yes.
true.
Mhm. Yes. Right now, tell me, since the release of the song, what was the feedback, and right now your plans as an artist, what you would like to do for the upcoming period?
Absolutely. So the feedback was probably aside from another record I just released, Bitter Truth. It was just like, this just sounds like a label released it. That was really important to me because it was just a few of us, and I worked with my vocal coach, vocal producing it. So I wanted it to be very well polished. I want to make unforgettable music that has a message, really grow my social media, and do the more creative content. So the feedback has really just been like, I can hear your growth. I can hear work that you've been doing, and it's paying off, and this is relatable. I want to just play this all the time. It's stuck in my head. And that's
Mm-hmm.
all I could care about, is touching people with my music and losing my inhibitions. Like, that is the entire year coming forth. I actually just connected with, I now have building a little bit of a team management, and the goal is to really get out what's inside and
Hmm.
not be afraid to experiment
Yes.
and
Yes.
be vulnerable.
I've seen you have been collaborating with sound engineer and award-winning
Yes.
musicians and
Yes.
lyricists as well. Do you think you might have a plan to release an album in the upcoming period as well?
So I would say, instead of an album, that would be in the next year
Hmm.
after this, after we build, but a shorter version, an EP. So, like, maybe 5 or 6 songs, because it really,
Hmm.
really is. I admire Yeva Smith, Billie Eilish, that tell these stories through their music, and they built this arc. And I
Hmm.
don't want to just create singles. I want to start making this identifiable sonic story. And if you are a music fan, I mean, when you would turn on an album and they take you on a journey.
Of course. Hmm.
I want to do that on a little bit more short form version, but that is absolutely my goal.
Yes. When I saw the press release and saw some of your photo shoot, I've seen you have a certain character, certain performance in the front of the lens of a camera, and so I wanted to ask you, do you consider venturing into, and also I've seen the music video and your performance. Do you think in the future you would like to venture into acting, performing, besides singing as well?
Absolutely. That is so funny that you asked me that. I just got asked that the other day. And
Uh-huh.
yes, I love cinematic visuals. And
Mhm.
I would love to be in like a comedy. First of all, I love
Mhm.
comedy, but I would love to become a character entirely, because I still think I have just scratched the surface. I want to get into full artistic expression and create bodies of work that tell the story visually as well. So absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, yes, but I think comedy, a romantic comedy, a musical comedy, because I think our generation right now misses a lot the musicals that we used to see, in the classics and the 70s, and every now and then we see like you know, uh, a little music, not produced in bulk like they used been to do in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. So I think people are eager, to have something with musical flavor in the movies as well.
You hit the nail on the head. I would say
Hmm.
that people are longing for songs again,
Hmm.
because we got so into short form content and a story. And
Hmm.
I grew up a dancer as well, so
Hmm.
I'm so absolutely privy to ballets and
Hmm.
like a chorus line.
Yes, yes. Hmm.
Right, so that whole kind of energy in that story, and it's so relatable, chasing and entertainment. But I
Hmm.
would absolutely agree with you
Hmm.
full-heartedly.
Yes, yes, and maybe a stage musical as well. When I
Say
used
that
to
one
go
more
to
time.
like a stage musical like the one we see in Broadway and Los Angeles as well.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I love musicals. I when I used to go to New York to attend Tribeca Festival, I used to go between movies to every night to a stage play. You know, so I loved attending Phantom of the Opera, and there was a Spider-Man musical as well, co-produced by Bono from U2. I loved it. I went to see it in a matinee show on Saturday, you know. And I want to tell you that watching a musical on stage, it's a quite an experience, you know. And I think as well from the other, you know, side of the stage for the actors, the performance, I think it's an experience as well for singers like yourself.
Yes. I actually also saw the opera on Broadway
Mm-hmm.
in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something, and this is what I say about like live performance and why it's so important as an artist. There is an energetic exchange that can be
Mm-hmm.
lost through the screen. Something about
Mm-hmm.
this magic that you can share. And the only word I do have to describe it is magic and
For sure.
art.
Mm-hmm.
Magic, you know? So I think it's so important. And that's always been a explore more of it because if you're an creative, you're multidimensional.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
You're
Yes.
not
Yes.
one thing.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Luisa, I want to thank you very much for coming to the show today, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Sharif. It was so awesome to talk to you.
I don't know if you like to sing a segment from Pretty Life for us fast before we close the show.
I will definitely do what I can. I'm still recovering,
Sure.
you can tell, but I will sing first one. The
Okay.
universe spins, sending us in different directions. Yeah, fall in love. It wasn't no intention. After we get ourselves in such a situation. Cause waiting for you, my love's running out of patience. Then, you know, then we go into our
Great.
Mariah. Feel that we could never be. And I'll leave it at that.
Great, Luisa. I wish you all the best on promoting your work and Pretty Lie. And I look forward for your next song. And I hope you come back, present it again in our show.
Absolutely. I would love to speak more. I feel like we could delve into a lot of topics. Thank you so much for your time, Sharif, and for reaching out. It's wonderful to get to know you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening and best wishes for your upcoming work.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night. Take care. Bye bye.